Hey everyone, it's George Couros. Welcome back to another episode of Mindset Mondays. Welcome back. It is so good to see you all again, even though I'm not seeing any of you, but you know what I mean. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking the time to listen. And this is week 3 of Mindset Mondays. And I was thinking about, as I'm kind of going through this and kind of looking at, the weekly progression. The first week I talked about really what's that big reason of why you want to do what you want to do. The second week I talked about your goals, right? And thinking about the goals that you actually have and breaking them down to like small, medium, and bigger goals, and kind of like seeing how they're measurable, how you get to those spaces. And so this week I want to talk about habits and think about habits. And I was kind of trying to think, I always kind of try to think about, a story, maybe something outside of my life, something in my life. And I actually remember, I feel like right now I'm in pretty good shape. I've taken really good care of my health. And what I have done is I've got to a space where I don't negotiate with myself anymore. And what I mean by that is I work out every single day and I do something. I have like a schedule of things that I want to do in a week. And I try to do it basically the same time. Now, it's, schedules are all over the place, but I make sure that those things are done. And what I mean when I don't say I don't negotiate with myself, I don't get in this conversation like, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll save this for Monday. Maybe I'll start in the new year. Kind of this is just, that's what it is. And I actually learned this skill unintentionally and thinking about this. And I think it is a skill, to be honest with you. I think it is how we get to this space where we don't negotiate things that we do. And I want you to think about this, think about yourself when you go to work, right? If you work 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you probably don't show up at 10 o'clock sometimes, maybe you make sure that you're there on time every single day. And it's not even a conversation. Now, you might be grumpy about it. You might struggle with it, but I think you still do it every single day. But then when it comes to ourselves and things that we want to achieve, we can get into the space of negotiating with ourselves. And so what I actually started doing years ago, I used to teach a spin class. And I know a lot of people know that about me. Some people have no clue that I used to do this. And I actually used to teach a spin class while I was an assistant principal, while I was a principal, and I would do it every single morning at like 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. I teach my spin class. I would get really excited. It's probably when my voice is kind of low and raspy because I yelled at people so much during that class, trying to get them motivated first thing in the morning. And I'll tell you, when I went to work, I just felt so energized, felt so much better. Doing a workout on the first thing in the morning is like just an awesome experience for me. It just makes me feel so much better. It makes me so much better to interact with, I feel, as well too. And 6 o'clock in the morning, I think, is kind of early. Maybe you're an early person, but for me, that's a pretty early time. But I actually would get up and I'd have to go to that spin class every single day. And I never got in conversations and hit my snooze button and do these things over and over again because I had to go. I didn't have a choice. The reason I didn't have a choice is because I was the instructor. And there was an accountability to other people. So I would just go there and, I try to wake up with a shower. It's the easiest way for me to kind of just be awake. And I would, alarm would go off. I'd be there for my spin class, and I'd go through it. I would just hammer through that workout, and it just made me so much better. And then eventually I actually, because of my work that I do today, I actually had to drop that spin class. I couldn't do it because I was traveling so much. And then I started negotiating with myself, right? I'll do this later, because the only person I was accountable to at that point was not to other people, it was to myself. And I think a lot of times we treat other people so much better than we treat ourselves. And so I think we have to keep that accountability to others, to ourselves, the way we would, keep accountable to our places of work, to other people that we really care about, and kind of think about this. And one of the things, even on really hard days, because I don't want to pretend like every day I'm just like up out of bed and just super excited and get to going. I heard this idea and it's really helped me. It's basically called the 5-minute rule. And it's like, when you don't want to do things, just do it for 5 minutes. Just do it for 5 minutes. See how that first 5 minutes goes. And this is something I do on the treadmill. And I run quite a bit, but I still get like anxiety when I'm on a treadmill. I kind of, get a little bit nervous about it. And so then I get into this 5-minute rule. So I just say hey, just give yourself 5 minutes, see how it goes. And if you don't want to do it after 5 minutes, then at least you did 5 minutes, right? Better than 0. And I have never done 5 minutes without going, 6 to 6 minutes and beyond. That once I get through that first 5 minutes, it's like, this isn't as bad as I thought. And I've never actually done a workout that I didn't want to do and actually finished it and felt worse after. I've always felt better. And so really when you develop those habits, it's like, it's getting to a space where you don't negotiate with yourself, where you don't say like, I don't feel like doing this today. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll save this for another time. It's keeping consistent. So thinking about that on a personal level, I try to do the same thing at a professional level. And I mentioned this last week. I actually have an accountability to myself. I'm going to have a podcast out every Sunday. I'm going to have a blog post out every Tuesday. I'm going to have an email out every Saturday. And so even though, because my schedule is kind of all over the place, I always make sure that gets done. I always make sure that gets done. And really, if I don't get it done, I don't think people are going to be mad at me or anything like this, but it's something that I do for myself. I create that accountability to myself. So when you kind of get to those habits, really kind of think about that. Don't get into a place where you negotiate, right? Get it to a place where it's just something you do, and try to kind of think of like that. And just to kind of make you think about this, think of all the things that you do in your life right now that you don't negotiate, and then think about who you do those things for. And I'm probably going to guess that many of those things are for other people, but not for yourself. What are those things? Identify them, and then identify what are the things that you're no longer going to negotiate with yourself, that you're going to make sure that you get done maybe every week, maybe every day. So just kind of something to think about. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I kind of like talking about this, so I hope you're enjoying this. The third week of Mindset Mondays. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for all you do. Take care.